Well, I think it's safe to say that Bucky, he's definitely lost his mind, and it's not just because of Hydra this time. Hey guys, welcome back to Pop Culture with Pat. So today we're going to be talking about the movie Fresh that just came out on Hulu. It is the directorial debut of Mimi Cave, and it stars Daisy Edgar-Jones, Sebastian Stan, and JoJo T. Gibbs. So Fresh is about this woman named Noah who she's really frustrated with how dating is nowadays when she ends up meeting this guy named Steve at a grocery store. The two of them, they start talking, and when Steve invites her on a romantic getaway, she decides to take a chance where she's been so frustrated, but soon realizes she might have made a mistake. So this movie is almost broken up into two, different types of films. So the first act, which is, about like the first half hour-ish, is more of kind of like a rom-com, type of film. And then once you hit that, 30 minutes mark, right around there, you actually get the title, drops, which I thought that was a cool, creative choice to do that. And once it hits that mark, the movie just completely changes and becomes a whole new thing from there. And I will give you guys a heads up. If you are not, if you're going into this thing and you're not really like a big like horror fan and familiar with kind of, movies like this, I want to give you a warning that you might want to have somewhat of a strong stomach to watch this film. So again, that's just kind of more for those who maybe aren't as big of like horror fans and are watching this because, like Sebastian Stan in here or Daisy Edgar-Jones. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up because things do get really, really fucking crazy, especially once you get into that second and third act of the film. So as a horror fan, this movie, it definitely has its fair share of, blood and gore in it. But it's definitely not the most goriest, movie that I've seen by any stretch of the imagination. Where this film really got me is it has incredible sound design. And just like some of these shots that director Mimi Cave was able to capture in this film too. Like there was one particular scene in this movie where I was watching it and just with like the sound, the shots where it has like close-ups of like, people eating and stuff like that. Oh, it made me really uncomfortable, watching those, specific sequences. So again, for me personally, not anything that's, super, super gory. I mean, that is obviously going to depend on your guys, taste, what you can handle. Taste, haha. But yeah, just the sound design really got me in this film. And I think Mimi Cave, she did a great job as far as that goes. And this is going to be, it's going to be really hard to not talk spoilers with this movie because once you get to that second and third act, there's a lot of stuff. Like I said, the movie just completely changes. But this is going to be spoiler free because I want you guys to go in there and just kind of, go into there fresh. Wow, I'm just having a bunch of puns in here that I'm not meant to put in here. But anyways, we'll continue on. With this being Mimi Cave's directorial debut too, I thought that, she did a fantastic job. The camera work in here I thought was really well done. And she does this one particular thing several times throughout this movie where the characters, a scene's taking place, that you see them having a conversation, back and forth. And then all of a sudden, like, you still hear that conversation, playing out, but then it'll cut to the characters doing something else, like, dancing or something else, along those lines, but you still kind of hear that conversation playing in the background, and I really, really like that. I thought that was a really, fun choice that she included in this film, and it happens, several times throughout, and just the transitions that she did, between, like, scenes, as far as the music goes, I thought those were used really well, as well, and the soundtrack, just overall, it is awesome. There's definitely a couple songs in there. I was like, oh, I have to, put this into a playlist. So soundtrack and score overall, really, really well done. As far as both Daisy Edgar-Jones and Sebastian Stan's, characters and their performances in this film, I thought that, they both, did really well. Daisy Edgar-Jones, her character, Noah, I think that, a lot of people will really be able to relate to that character, specifically, early on in the film where she's kind of just fed up with how, dating is, kind of modern dating, how that whole scene is. She's really frustrated with that. So I think a lot of people will be able to, relate to that situation. And, you follow her, obviously she's the main character of the film, and you follow her throughout. And I feel like, she's a pretty, relatable character, pretty easy to attach onto. And then as far as Sebastian Stan goes, man, you can tell that I think he had a lot of fun with this role. You know, he starts out a certain way, and once the film hits that second and third act, he completely, you know, switches up. You find out something about his character. And once that happens, the way that he talks to Daisy Edgar-Jones, you know, her character Noah, just like so matter-of-factly and just like very calm. I don't know, something about that, it really, you know, creeped me out, and I felt that to be unsettling. So I thought that he gave a good performance, you know, as this character as well. And from what I can see, it looks like that he had a great time, you know, with this role. And I also really liked Jojo T. Gibbs' character, which they play the best friend of Noah's character. And the thing that I really appreciated about this character, because I felt going into this movie, or just like these type of films, sometimes you have those characters or the friends of the main character. Sometimes they don't make the best, you know, decisions. And I actually thought that, you know, their character was done really well. They were really smart, and, you know, they didn't get into situations without kind of like, you know, doing some research or having a, you know, a backup plan, considering everything that's going on in this film. And that was something that I just really appreciated. So the writing as far as that character goes, I thought was really well done. As far as negatives go, there's just a couple things that I really have to, you know, nitpick with the film. So as far as like some of the character decisions, there are some that were a little, you know, frustrating in the movie. And then just some of the, you know, watching the film, there was moments where I felt things were maybe a little predictable as far as the story goes. But overall, it doesn't completely detract from, you know, Mimi Cave being able to deliver a hell of a thrill ride with her directorial debut, and you get some really good performances as far as the cast goes, you know, overall. So personally, as far as the score goes for me, I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. Like I said, it kind of starts off as a rom-com, and then it completely switches gears and goes into more of like a thriller horror, you know, territory for the second and third acts. And I don't want to go into any details, because if you guys haven't seen the trailer, I think going into this thing, you're going to be like, what the hell is going on? I mean, I had watched the trailer, and still there was some parts where I was like, holy shit, like this has just gone fucking batshit crazy right now. So yeah, I definitely think this is worth checking out. It's playing on Hulu right now. You know, like I said, I give this an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. It's not something, after I finished, you know, watching the movie, just with what the material it kind of deals with, I don't feel like it's something where it's like, oh, I'm gonna like, you know, go back and watch this a bunch of times, just because of kind of what it deals with. At least for me, I don't know, maybe some of you guys would, you know, want to watch this movie a bunch of times, but just not really my taste. But that doesn't detract from the fact that I think this is a really good film, and something that I think you should at least check out once. So have you guys seen Fresh? That is on Hulu right now. Let me know, you know, down below in the comments if you have. If you haven't, is this something that you are planning to check out? Definitely let me know. I want to hear what your thoughts are, you know, down below. If you guys are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button as well as the bell button next to it. That way you get notifications for all my new videos. Please give this video a thumbs up. And as always, guys, please make sure to check back for more Pop Culture with Pat.